Hi, Elmer. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going very, very good. Thank you. Without further ado, let's just start talking trumpet. Tell us a little bit about how you started playing the trumpet.
Well, trumpet for me is everything. It's like part of my life. I started playing trumpet when I was 4 years old with my dad. My dad's also a trumpet player. We are from Peru, and it started like a game in the beginning when I was four. And then my dad realized that I was getting kind of better every time that I was playing the trumpet, so he took it really seriously, and he decided that I was gonna be a classical trumpet player because he's a salsa player. He plays salsa and then Peruvian folk music in back in Peru. So that's how I started playing trumpet. Later on, when I was like 8 years old, 7 years old, I studied with Maestro Felipe Villus, who used to be the principal trumpet of the National Symphony of Peru, and he's a really popular, famous trumpet player in Peru. And so he prepared me to apply for the Conservatory of Music in Peru, and I got in at the age of 9 years old. And so my first teacher will be my dad. He taught me like the notes, how to read music, the rhythm. He put me in piano classes and percussion classes because he thought that it was important to have a good ear and also a good rhythm. So they were like the basic things that I was learning when I was a kid, other than trumpet also, of course.
Okay. Now you were just saying about doing piano and another instrument. How has that helped you? How important has it been in your development?
Well, piano for me helped me a lot. I'm not like a expert playing piano, but I know the basic things. And I feel like it's really important for every trumpet player to learn piano because it gives you a good ear. Having a good ear is very important. And so the piano gives me the perfect pitch thing, and also it's like it helps you to have a better idea of what is music. It's more melodic, and then the rhythm percussion it helps you with the rhythm, of course. So that was the idea of my dad. That's why he put me when I was a little kid.
That is so. That's such a long way. So you've been playing since you were 4.
Yeah, I've been playing once for. I'm 20 years old, so yeah, many years.
Wow, that is a long time already.
Yeah,
Um,
a long time ago.
you mentioned that you studied with the principal trumpet of the Peruvian Symphony.
Yeah, he used
How
to be.
how did you get the lessons with him?
Well, yeah, like I say, my dad's not classical major, and he wanted me to be a classical trumpet player, so it was kind of hard at the beginning to find a good teacher. So we went to the conservatory, and then we asked people about teachers, and they all will say Felipe Vius, who is basically the teacher of everybody right now. He did like all the new teachers right now in the conservatory. They were all students from Felipe Vius, and he had the technique to teach me something like that my dad didn't have because he never had a teacher, a professional teacher. So that was my dad's idea to get better in more technique things. So that's how I remember. I would used to go to his house with this small cornet that my dad bought for me, like a constellation cornet, and that's how it started. Like he gave me the Arba and the Clark, all these specific books, and
S-
so like
So
he kind of prepared me to apply for, and I got in thanks to him.
congratulations. That is so cool. You say you started on a simple constellation con trumpet. So a lot of times, kids in schools they don't have access to a Bach or a Yamaha or a really really nice trumpet. But this wasn't a problem for you.
No, like I always say, for me it's more important the person than the instrument. And that's the thing that many people think that because you have a Stradivarius or a good Yamaha, you're gonna play better. But it's all about how you're studying and how you're practicing. I had a Constellation, I had a Hofer, I had a King trumpet. I remember. So not like the expensive trumpets that everybody thinks they have. But of course it helps you a little bit, but it's not like that big difference. Like we have to focus more in the player than the instrument.
Great, that's some fantastic advice. While we're still on the subject of getting started and being a young player, when you were little, what kinds of methods, how was your warm up? What did you do on a daily basis that made you grow?
I used to do a lot of bassing, a lot of bassing. That's one of the things that my teacher taught me to do. So I was doing a lot of bassing. Also, I did always Maggio, Cloud Gordon, Maggio, like long notes all the time. I always had the idea since I started. I had to do a warm up before I played. That was always the main thing that my dad taught me, and also Felipe views. That I always had to do a warm up, like any sport, you have to do a warm up before you start playing. So for trumpet, will be the same. You have to do a warm up before you start playing a concert or studying exercise. Because if you start playing cold, then you're gonna have trouble with your legs. You're gonna get tired easy. So it's just like I always say when I give master classes in Peru, like you always have to warm up before you play something. Never start cold. Even though you have like 5 minutes, even you're late, you have to do a little warm up. That's why I always go to rehearsals like an hour before to do warm up and start fresh, because you don't wanna hurt yourself. Because if you see, it's like this is muscle versus metal, so like have to be very careful.
Right. Yeah, I really hope that if my students are listening to this right now, they are remembering what we told them every single day. So you went to the conservatory in Peru, and then how did you make it to the United States? Because right now you are at a fantastic conservatory in Boston. So how did that happen?
Well, when I was 13, a friend of mine uh, told me about Interlochen, which is like a famous academy here in Michigan. And so this academy have also a summer camp program. So they recommend me to apply for the camp first, and I didn't know about the academy. So I applied for the camp. It was really really hard because it was my first time outside the country. I couldn't speak any English, and I come from a really humble family in Peru. We're really poor family, and so we had to find help for the flight tickets. We went to the TV to ask for help for some people, and everything worked out. Everything was fine. People helped me. People bought me the tickets to fly because I got a full scholarship. I just had to pay for the flight tickets that were expensive for my parents. They couldn't afford it. So I left Interlochen, Michigan. I had to take 3 planes. I remember I was 13 years old. I couldn't speak any English, and that was my first time in a plane. So I was really scary and also like really excited. I remember my mom didn't want me to go, but my dad convinced her to go because he knew that was gonna be for a good thing, for because believe it or not, the music education in this country is much better than Peru, and that's a thing that hopefully someday will change. But classical music is more appreciated here in this country than many countries in South America. That's why one of the reasons I left the country in Peru. So I went to the camp when I was 13 years old, and then I was invited to apply for the academy, which is like the high school. And
So that's
during mhm.
sorry, that's a boarding school.
It's a boarding school, exactly. It's a boarding school. One of the most famous and expensive schools in the entire USA. Even more, I think the tuition is more expensive than some college here. So when I applied, I had a great audition. I remember the teacher was Ken Larson. Um, so I auditioned for him, and he liked my playing. And I told him that I would love to come back to the academy, but when I saw the tuition, man, I was like, I cannot afford that. No way. And he promised me that he was gonna help me, and everything worked out. They gave me full scholarship, and I was going back to Peru again. I told my family about it. My mom didn't look that excited because I was still 13, and she didn't want
Right.
me to leave the country at that age. But then my dad was kind of happy because it was a good chance, it was a good chance to have a better future. And so I decided, to leave, and then also people helped me with the flight tickets. I went again to the TV in Peru to ask for help, and then people helped me. So I left the country at 13 years old, and I started going to the academy. It was a different world for me. It was the first time seeing snow, first time living without my family. At that age, it's kind of tough. And I remember I was taking only English classes for almost half a year, just English classes to get my English better. And everything was looking good. I was learning trumpet, and then I was so happy to have a teacher like Ken Larson, who is a really, really, really good person and really good teacher. that I still have contact with him. And then I did 3 years there. Then I applied to New England Conservatory in Boston, and I was happy to be accepted. And also I had a full scholarship thing, but I had to pay the dorms, the living. It wasn't part of the scholarship. So I create a GoFundMe.com, this website where people can donate money. And also people, they saw my story. They knew that my family was poor, and then that I was really focusing being a professional musician. So they helped me out, and I got into NEC. And here in Boston, I have so many people that help me a lot. So I always say that I'm really lucky, because without these people that helped me, I wouldn't be here right now. And that's why I'm always thankful.
Well, like I always tell everybody, you can't do anything by yourself. Um, and there are a lot of talented players out there that don't have the means, even here in the United States. But you made it all the way from a low income family in a South American country, and you are now a sub player with the Boston. Is it the Boston Pops?
Well, I did with the Boston Pop, and now in the Boston Symphony too. I just like was in the sublist like a week ago. They put in the sublist, so that was
That's
like
amazing.
that was that was like a dream for me. When I sit next to my teacher Tom Rolfe, who's the principal trumpet, and Ben Wright, it was like playing with Real Madrid.
Yeah, that's like
It was
that's like a
that's like
dream.
it's like a dream for me. Yeah, I always admire the BSO. Like that's why before I joined the NEC, I wanted to be a solo trumpet player, but then I saw the BSO and I was like, wow, I want to be orchestra player. So I decided to do both now. And I mean, I still do competitions, but I'm in love playing orchestra right now. Like BSO is one of my dreams someday. I want to be like Tom Rolfe. But I'm happy right now at my age. Having with the BSO is a good thing for me, a good experience.
Yeah, it's amazing, for a lack of a better word. It's amazing. Um, Now I'm glad that you just mentioned competitions. Have you done a lot of competitions?
Yeah, I have a lot of times. Like I was a little kid. My first competition that I won was at the age of 7. It was the competition of concerto competitions with the National Symphony of Peru, and I won three years in a row. At the age of 7, 8, and 9, I play Carnaval de Venecia, and then I play Hamel, and then I play Aritunian. At 7, 8, and 9 years old. And then I did some competitions in Interlaken. I did some small competitions there, but like the big ones were here in my undergraduate year. I did the national trumpet competition, and I won 2015 and then 2016 first place in undergrad division. I also did the MTNA brass competition twice, and I won twice. And also I was on a show on From the Top Radio. It's like a famous radio, when I was in high school.
Mhm.
So it was also a great experience. And I
I
did a
was
the young arts program in Miami too, in the
okay.
classical division.
Okay, I was going to ask about NPR. NPR is very, very famous for featuring young artists. You did that one too, right?
Yeah, I think I did that one. I don't remember very very well, but I think I was in that one too.
Okay. Well, how important are competitions to young players that are trying to become professional trumpet players?
I feel like competitions give you a lot of experience. Many people get nervous, and I always recommend to do a lot of competition. Even though you don't win or you win, you have to still do it. To have more experience in your life. And I love doing competitions because it's like training for me. To become better, better, better. It doesn't matter if you lose or you win, you still learn. But it's important for me to keep. It's like when somebody plays soccer, you always keep training. It's like that. For Trump, you have to do competitions, auditions, so it keep you like working hard and everything.
Right. What are some do you have any pre-competition rituals or mantras or things that you tell yourself before you go on stage?
Well, usually when I'm about to play, I think that I think on my head that I'm gonna play just my best. I don't think I'm gonna win. I think I'm gonna play my best, and then I always think about my family, even though they're not there. I imagine that my family is right in front of me, like seeing me. And sometimes I feel that I'm representing my country, so that gives me more power to play better or to play really good because I'm representing my country. I'm representing NEC, so that's a lot of motivation for me to play before I go to compete. And also there's a lot of preparation, of course, before I do the competition.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the competition preparation, which was actually going to be my next question?
When I do competitions, you have to know, of course, all the music, and for me, it's better to memorize it, everything. And what I do first is try to listen every recording, good recordings of it, and then I try to work on small pieces. Then I try to make my own style and just practice it hard. I always listen. I always record myself when I practice, and then I listen to it, and I try to see small points, that can make different. Because sometimes one cannot tell until you hear the recording. You're like, wow, I'm doing this. I'm rushing, I'm doing this, or I'm doing a lot of vibrato. So that's the recording thing is it helps a lot because it makes you realize what are you doing wrong. And other than that, like in the competition, I try to not think about it too much about the music. I try to listen another type of music to relax. Of course, you have to be prepared, and to do this. But that's what I do. Like I try to just wake up with different type of music, Latin music, to make me relax, and then try to be really, really, really relaxed. I drink a lot of water. I drink a lot of water, and and believe it or not, people think that I never get nervous. People always tell me, "You look so like fine when you go stage," and even, like everybody has nervous. You have to control it. I have nervous when I go to stage. I just have to control it, and then I don't think about it, and I just play. And it looks like I'm not nervous, and that's the idea. It's like when you go to show the judge that you're prepared, that you're like have confidence. It's about everything starts how you walk to the stage. If you walk like you're scary, then that gives a bad impression. Always have to walk with
With confidence.
confidence. There we go.
Yes, with
I was
confidence.
looking
Yes.
that
I was ready to help you out. Don't worry. Um,
way.
yeah, that's a really really big problem. There are a lot of good musicians out there, good young trumpet players, but the nerves are really really difficult to fix sometimes. And the one thing I always tell them is you got to play for other people, because if you don't, nerves are a learned skill.
Right, and that's what we do at NEC. Like every trumpet class that we have, we play for our friends, and that helps a lot. Every time I have a master class in Peru, when I do that, I make people play, and then I tell them that it's a good practice to play for people, so you're used to it. Because many people get nervous because they see a lot of people in the audience, and then you're afraid.
Right.
So yeah.
Good, good, good. Well, I'm going to try to switch gears here a little bit. And, well, I guess we're still talking about you, obviously. Why don't you tell our listeners what you think is your secret or your recipe for your success?
uh, I feel like the big trick, in my opinion, is to stay humble always. Stay humble always, and always work hard. Work hard. Whatever you're winning, whatever you're successful, never think that it's gonna stop. Never think that for music. There's always, you have to learn every day something new, something new, something new. And one of the thing that I always talk about to everybody is always stay humble, whatever you do, whatever is happening to your life, because basing in your personality, also you can get many jobs. So it's not about like the planes; it's also about how you are as a person. And of course, if you work hard, everything is gonna pay back. And patience, that's another thing that I always tell my friends and some students, they have patience, because many people don't have patience, and they think they're bad, and then they leave trumpet and they like get mad. But believe it or not, everybody, no, I don't sound good every day. There are like difficult days, and that's when you have to be more patient and have control to yourself, and just stop a little bit and start again. And don't think there's gonna be bad. Always think positive before you start playing trumpet. That's what I always think. before I play trumpet, I pray. I'm always really religious, and I pray and be thankful for the thing they have with me, which is music. Trumpet. I'm really lucky to play trumpet. Really lucky to make music, something that I love as my major, and always start really positive. That's one of the things that I would say too.
Yeah, being positive is another challenge. It's really hard to be positive when you're having a bad day,
Right.
and
Yeah.
when your lip slurs are not working.
That's true.
Um,
Yeah.
but tell me what you think about. There's this sort of controversial view that some people are born with talent, or they work hard to
hmm
become who they are. Where do you stand on that?
In my opinion, I think people get talent by the time you work hard. Many people think that with talent is gonna be enough, but if you don't work hard, then the talent is gonna go away. I don't think people are born with talent. Um, I feel like the talent comes along if you work hard, and that's the thing that my dad always tell me. It's not about just the talent that you have. You have to keep working every day, learning every day, going to every master class you can. Be always curious about that. Even though sometimes people think I'm annoying, asking so many questions, or telling the teacher that I want to play in the master class. It doesn't matter. I want to learn. That's the point of playing trumpet, that you want to learn more. And so being curious in that thing is really important. I feel like talent is basic in how you work hard. You get more talent if you do competition, if you keep working hard. So that's my opinion. I respect other opinions, but that's mine.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we all have to have our opinions.
hmm
Um, and I remember a little bit earlier you mentioned you have a few students.
hmm
Um, with all these playing commitments, do you have a lot of time to teach? Do you have one student
Yeah.
or a few more?
Well, in Peru, I have a lot of students, but when I come here, I have to have like a small amount of students because I study. But whenever I go to Peru, they're like my vacations, so I have more free time to teach, and I do a lot of master classes and private lessons at my house.
So
But here, mhm.
what about as a teacher? What is your big method? What is the backbone of your teaching?
I always say I'm a teacher that I learn also from my student. You learn from him, and also they learn from me. Uh, Teaching for me is more about sharing what I know. I always say that I don't want to teach, I want to share what I know. And then, the idea is to help you in everything I can. But for me, it's about more sharing than teaching.
Okay. Well, we are getting to the end of the interview now. Um, I would like you to leave our listeners with your best piece of advice for young trumpet players out there who may be listening to this and who may be thinking that this is what they want to do. They want to go to college and they want to become trumpet players in a symphony or an army band. What is your single best piece of advice that they can take with them?
For all the young trumpet players, I have to say that you never should give up. Whatever happened, always keep working hard and never be negative. Even in the bad situation, always try to be positive. I always put myself. I come from a really poor family in Peru. We live in a supermarket in Peru. It's we're like really humble and poor, and look at me right now. Everything's happening to me. It's great. I'm really lucky. I say. Right now I'm representing back as a trumpet artist, and I always had the idea of never giving up. For anything, never give up. Always work hard, and everything's gonna come. If you work hard, everything's gonna come. So that's my advice: to never give up.